Alright, the next question comes from the man, the myth, the legend, Merchanar. He's having problems leaving work at work, having constantly finding himself thinking about new ideas and strategies away from the desk, but doing so interferes with personal relationships, and the question is, how can he help create more focus on personal relationships and fun away from the desk? This is hard because there's clearly a lot kind of on your mind. There's a lot of creative things that you're coming up with, and limiting yourself from having some of that spontaneous stuff is not necessarily ideal. I mean, you want to be able to keep pushing your work farther, and these ideas are coming up. Some of them are not going to be relevant. Some of them may lead to something else, and some of them may be extraordinarily profitable. So how do you shut that off? How do you turn that spigot off? I'm not necessarily sure you want to. You may just want to sort of find a way, if possible, to sort of funnel it into times where you sort of predetermine. I think one of the things that often happens, when you're at work all day, and then you come home or you leave, it's like that space in your mind kind of opens up, and you're in this sort of work mode, and then when you leave, your brain is sort of digesting everything that's happening, and new ideas are kind of popping up. And so what you may want to do is just begin planning to take a half hour, 2 hours after your work is done, to take some notes down. Maybe it's the first 10 minutes after you leave. Maybe you give yourself a half-hour break, and then spend a half hour kind of thinking about what came out during work. I don't think this is one of those situations where doing like an evaluation, equivalent to poker, is going to be helpful to you. I think you really got to give your mind a solid break. Allow some of those random ideas to kind of pop into your mind, and if they happen while you're with somebody, just say, "Excuse me," make a couple notes down on a notepad, which I would definitely recommend keeping with you, or at least a cell phone with someplace where you can keep notes. So you don't necessarily have to fully sort of flush out these ideas while you're with that person, but you just leaving a note, so that in the future you can sort of work your way back to it and identify what it is, and then explore it more, flush it out more, and give it more detail. But I think between those two things, you're probably going to be in good shape. And then you also may want to just give people a heads up, that this is an important time in your work. There's a lot of ideas that are coming to your mind. It's nothing personal to them. It's just that you're having a lot of creative things coming to your head. So if you get distracted, you just say, "Excuse me," go make a couple notes, and then come back and refocus. And if something else pops in your head, and you just keep doing it. And if it pisses people off, good friends are going to understand. Anybody who doesn't understand, you can do your best to help them to understand. And if they don't, then what are you going to do? You can't change that, and work from there and deal with it. So hopefully that helps, and let me know if not.